live from the Real Guppy Dockside Learning and Multimedia Center. It's the Real Angler Podcast with community Kevin Brannon, brought to you by AFTCO Fishing Apparel and Tackle, designed to perform. Channel Islands Sport Fishing, offering deep-sea fishing on quality sport fishing charter boats, and more. Costa Sunglasses. Discover life's greatest adventures with Costa. See what's out there. Daiwa. If you want innovation and quality in your fishing products, Daiwa has what you need. And now, here's your host, Community Kevin Brannon. Today's guest, Adam Casillas of the Latino Business Expo and the West Coast Outdoors and Sport Fishing Expo.
Ready.
You need me to scoot over? Is the bear our mascot?
Good. Yeah, the bear is our mascot. We are the Caliente Cow Bear, except for this is the Raging Bull right here, right? That's your nickname?
Raging Bull.
The Raging Bull. And this is Adam Casillas. Normally, Scotty does the intro, and today he's on the sideline watching, but he'll jump in with some questions. And we have Barry here. Again, we just had his birthday a couple days ago. It was like his 4th year being part of the show, 4th or 5th year. But this is Adam Casillas. He's a friend of the show, and the reason we say that, the nonprofit Real Guppies we're just talking about wouldn't be here because after one of the Latino Expos that I went to, I called him the very next day. We were trying to get local businesses to run commercial ads in the TV show that was airing on KEYT. And I said, hey, you think some of those businesses would help me with this kid fishing program? And it wasn't even called Real Guppy Outdoors yet. And he said, you ever thought about starting a nonprofit? That way they could write off some of the their write-offs to you. And so we started looking into nonprofit. But then he backed it up by coming in as one of my first board members and helped us sort plenty of tackle in our backyard on Maplewood. And he's been a mentor of mine. He's been on the show probably 6 or 7 times. He's going to be with us today. It's the biggest day in Real Guppy Outdoor history. We're going in front of the County of Ventura and the probation as a preventative family program. And he's going to be there speaking on behalf of the program and what we do and how we put all these business-minded ownership kind of things together. And today he's here to talk about 2 events. We're going to highlight mostly his the West Coast Outdoor Show and then also, again, the Latino Business Expo. So, Adam Casillas, again, thank you very much for showing up. And the floor is yours, man. That's a good introduction and really excited for you every time you show up and what you have coming down the pipeline, man. What's going on?
Well, I'm super excited right now. We got a lot of changes going on. As you know, our Latino Business Expo is going to hit on April 3rd. I'll have about 110 vendors there, and we get about 2,000 people within a 4-hour period. So, for me, it's really a no-brainer. If you have a business, a brick and mortar, home-based business, corporate type setting, work for somebody, if the success of your business depends on you meeting new people and getting out there and connecting with other people in your industry or the community in general, our expo is a no-brainer to participate in. I mean, we get over 100 different businesses in the room and 2,000 people through the room in a 4-hour window. So if you have the opportunity to be at one of our shows, you get a chance to promote, network. And if you're not there for networking or promoting services or products, and you're there just to see what's out there, it's like Halloween for adults. It's a good time. You learn what's out there for education, what's in communication, new food, new items, new restaurants promoting their new products, alcoholic beverage companies sampling new products, tequila, beer, wine.
Food.
Food, of course, is always a main attraction to our event. We have Cabo Seafood and Cantina that I cater the event from. Plus, we have multiple restaurants sampling their products and their menu and other things that they do for catering and in-house. But I think that the opportunity to promote your business there I don't understand how some people go into business without having a marketing budget, and that comes full circle to participating at events like mine. People ask me how I can help them or what I can do is I can bring the people to you. Mm-hmm. And
also I think one thing I want to highlight is that whether you're networking, Adam's line is if you're not networking, you're not working. But if you do like to support small business and see what other vendors are in your backyard that you could utilize, it has plenty of vendors for that too. So if you want to talk to bankers, again, what I mean by that is if you're not in business or you're not there for business networking, on top of that, there are vendors there that you could interact with and talk to to get more information about the services that they provide in your backyard, from bankers to lawyers to, it's just such a diverse group. And we know we use that word diversity a lot, but as far as, again, the businesses that are there, you got printers there, you have just all kinds of stuff that goes on there. So I just recommend you check it out, even if you're not an entrepreneur, you're not in business as of right now. And then last year when we had a vendor, we did have somebody that was just starting. Right now I feel like there's an era of people, dreamers and visionaries that want to start their business. So to help get your entrepreneur juices flowing, it's a good place for you too to walk in there to see other visionaries and dreamers at a level or a scale that seems possible for you to take that leap of faith to start in a business that you might be on the edge, kind of wondering, should I do this? Should I chase my dream? Because we started there again with the Real Anglers Fishing Show. I do video production, but it was a great place for me to meet other small businesses. And whether or not, again, I was purchasing their service, it is a good way to fellowship amongst other entrepreneurs in business. So there's a lot of value in going, if you're not just there to purchase or buy, but to get you fired up, maybe to start something or find out, businesses that can help, cater and all that kind of stuff. So
absolutely. Since 2007, we've turned it into the #1 networking event in the Tri-Counties, from Santa Barbara to Thousand Oaks, Oxnard, Ventura, Camarillo. Everybody knows the show. They're all familiar with it. Now, we have like a 70% retention from one show to the next, which means something's right for the vendors, or I wouldn't have that high number. But, at the end of the day, if you're not networking, you're not working. And no matter what project you're working on, if you're a service club, if you're nonprofit, if you're working to make a living for yourself, if you're an entrepreneur and you want to see how people are doing things, or if you're just trying to learn about options that are out there. I tell people that are looking for work, they contact me. They ask me about, hey, are anybody hiring there? I said, you should always be prepared. Yep. You don't know who's hiring. You never know. And
it's a /job fair. That's a good idea. I never think about
exactly. Carry your resume on a digital platform or a link, so you can email somebody your resume right away. Print the damn thing out. Have it with you. Go old school. People appreciate somebody that's going the extra mile when they're looking for work instead of just logging in and signing in. Yeah. I mean, I tell youngsters nowadays that, I applied online. I don't care. I got a kid. I got a foster kid.
They wait too, right?
Yeah.
Back versus being like on the proactive.
Exactly. I got a foster kid, a 17-year-old kid, and I'm constantly working on him and working with him. And he's looking for work, and he's applied everywhere. I said, okay, now we're going to take a day. I'm going to dedicate a day, and I'm going to drive you to all these places. So I go, I put him in my seat, I put him in the car, I take him there, I tell him to go in there and physically check. Even if it says online, let them know that you submitted it online and you're just following up to see if you guys are still hiring. Just make the introduction, let them get to meet you. At the end of the day, people want to hire personalities and people they like. If you're looking for work, you got to be aggressive. Yeah, you have to be aggressive.
And also, be different, be spontaneous. And I think that's what some of the Latino Business Expo allows you to do. So if you have staff or employees that, like for us, right? We bring some of our interns, because 21 and over event for the Latino Business Expo, right?
Yes.
But whether it's that one or the trade show, the West Coast Sportsman Show, is that it gives our staff a chance for them to engage with the community. So if you have employees that you would like to be able to, let's say you're a bank and they kind of only come in contact with the people at the teller, right? But you want your people to get some extra experience just dealing with the community. This is a great event for that. And what I mean by spontaneous is if you do show initiative to an employer that you have all the things Adam said, you're following up, you're, being creative, making sure you're kind of, getting back to them to show the initiative that you want the job and to work. That does go a long way with working with somebody,
Yeah, it's important to get out there and share yourself. If at my show, there's so many different options for opportunities as far as networking, looking for a job, looking for new options. There's people out there that are creating business opportunities for our guests. So at the end of the day, it's I say it all the time: if you're not networking, you're not working. That's not a joke, or it's the truth, and that goes into any business.
Can I jump in real quick on that? And this is the thing about networking. It's a seed. It's a process. So the follow up, when you get a business card and you talk to somebody and you have that initial exchange, doesn't stop right there, right?
Nope.
It is continuing to stay relevant, to be in the building, to follow up, to stop and just have a conversation with people, not just trying to buy or sell immediately at that one time, right?
Yep.
It could take, a year for that relationship to turn into something. And that's part of the networking as well. So it's not just, hey, I went to a mixer for 45 minutes and gave out 5 cards and waiting for the phone to ring. That's kind of like, again, just sending in your way of sending just a resume online and not following up or trying to be a standout. That's part of networking, is people get a chance to, the way that Adam has is that you can kind of be more authentic and be yourself, versus that stiff across the board interview where you're trying to, have some type of courtship to either get hired or get that right.
You got to break the ice,
and to be consistent and to follow up and to show interest. Those are things that go into entrepreneurship business. I believe that's why your guys you've been in business so long and grown to be that size, because you follow the model, and I follow your model since we met. And I think has a lot to do, like your fingerprints of how you maneuver and your partner maneuver is how we incorporate some of the stuff into my workflow today, man.
Well, 90% of what I do is follow up and networking. That's the rest of the other 10% and is what we do behind the scenes to make sure everything's right. But when I have an event and I take a business card, I email those people, tell them thank you for showing up. A couple of days later, I follow up with the phone call. And if they don't answer the phone, I send them a text or a voicemail.
But is that we talk about in the Millionaires Club? It's like 8 touches. We had this conversation because me and Adam are in the Millionaires Club too on Wednesdays, and there was something we talked about because we do about 5 minutes of education, right?
Yeah.
And one of the educational features a month or two ago was 8 touches, And it's funny because the guy, Dr. Bolt, shout out to him and his Eagles this weekend. He's a chiropractor, so there's this joke of the way he touches to make sure that people are aligned right. So you kind of put that in there, that the 8 touch points of business are those: follow up, email, call, courtesy, hello, shoot the breeze, right?
Yep.
Not just hey buy, hey sell, hey buy.
Exactly. And that gets robotic with certain people that you see the same platform everywhere. Even today when I presented at the club, I did something different because anybody that knows me, they know what I do. I've been doing it since 2007. Everybody knows about my expo. Everybody in that group knows everything about me. But when I come up to do a commercial, I don't feel like doing the same thing I did last time. So I make it up on the fly because nobody knows more about what I do than I do. With your own business, nobody knows more about your business than you. So don't ever feel like you can't talk about it in every single setting, which, I tell people, just talk about what you know. The people, when I'm teaching, I've taken a lot of people under my wing to get them through the networking throws. Yeah. Talk about what you do, be proud of what you do, know your products. Now, if you don't know your product and you're up there pitching a commercial and you're directing people to your website, to me, that shows that you haven't done your due diligence.
And that part though, if that's what you start at, don't think that you have to master all this day one, right? That's why you get your repetitions in.
A little bit at a
time. What I know in today's expos, from what I started on day one, it took the repetitions. Oh, we forgot this. We don't have the brochures yet we want. But we started with what we had, and then you start collecting this. This part of this networking thing is kind of imitating some of people that have already set it out for you that could help guide you, like you said, under his wing. So don't think that by not having all of your stuff together yet is to prevent you from attending or starting or getting there. These are only things you're going to get through repetitions, man.
That's right.
So,
and it doesn't, a lot of people, okay, when you're 17, 18 years old, you're learning, there's new things. But by the time you're 30 years old, you've done some things, you've worked some jobs, you've been in through the system. And one of the things that I want to stress here with people that might be listening or watching and trying to figure themselves out, every one of us has this. It's called transferable skills. You can take what you know from this job and apply it to the next job. So for me, I've been a salesman since the age of 9. I used to sell produce door to door. Then I sold subscriptions for newspaper, sell. When I was in the food and beverage industry, I was involved with sales and food and that. I'm in real estate. I'm in everything that I've done. I didn't have to learn everything from scratch because I took tidbits from every product and every service and every job that I've ever had. And you kind of, it's meshing. So for me, I can sell anything on the planet. I don't care what it is. I just need to learn the product before, so I can feel confident.
But Adam's thing is, and right now, so again, knowing that you could sell every product. Now think about if that product was you, right? Adam sells his product, and that's why he does it. He took the formula of sales and applied it to his brand. He's one of the masters at branding. He has his hat on, his colors changed very slightly over the last couple of years, right? Sometimes he shows up looking like an umpire with his black sneakers, his little shorts on, and his Latino business Expo shirt and his hat, I swear. But he's a master of that. So again, when you take the application of those transferable skills, I'm gonna use that later in my presentation at probation. I'm gonna throw that term in there, so we have that later. But you take those transferable skills and then you put it into the passion that you love to do, and then you dominate from there. So again, before you have it all figured out, okay. And I remember somebody telling me this in pest control. I said, "Hey, you got any questions?" So they're taking care of his mice in Oakview, and he said, "Kevin, you've articulated everything perfectly. I don't think I have any questions." I had to go out to my car and Google what the hell articulated meant. Right?
You did a good job.
Right. And
you explained yourself
but once you started learning to articulate, and I knew I could sell rodent control and ant destruction and spider elimination or extermination. You can't eliminate everything in case somebody's listening. It's not pest right, Scotty? It's not pest elimination. But when I was able to articulate that through the reps and apply that to Royal Angler Network, then I'm able to go in there and then sell myself with my personality. But just to say that. So that's why this expos are important for people to come check it out. Again, whether you're a business, thinking about going into business, looking at people that you'd like to work with in your community, you could kind of interview them there and say, "Hey, I've been looking for this, this need anyway." And then you're able to actually talk to somebody there, then doing some work on the internet or something like that. So there's so many multiple facets of this Latino Expo and what Adam does for, again, not just for the event, but his vendors throughout the year and keeping them in the loop. So let's transfer over so that's the Latino Business Expo, April 10th, Ventura Fairgrounds, right? And it looks like they're just dominating the fairgrounds because the next one after that is in May, and that's going to be the West Coast Sport Fishing Expo. And what's cool about this, Adam, I got to tell you this, when we were just at the hall show the other day, and we talk about, because I'm a Ventura, a lot of people don't like to come up. You can move that frame right there. A lot of people, coming up the 405 from down south isn't always ideal for some people to do. And Adam, for them to put this show on up here is something that we need because you have people from Central California that it's easier for them to get to. But Adam, again, doing the work that he does, he's down at Bob Sands tackle at their booth over the weekend. So, Adam, and we, people don't know how close we are. So when they start telling me, "Oh man, your show's great. Oh, him and little Dr. A and them," these already make an impression, man, in this fishing industry of the kind of work that he does and the people that they are, that this show has already grown in 1 year. But again, that's just an attribute to your commitment of what you do anyway. So this show is growing bigger. And let's talk about this show now. Again, this is the West Coast Outdoor Sport Fishing Expo.
Again, this goes back to what we were talking about, transferable skills. A whole different arena, but the same idea of searching vendors, delivering on what we say. The Latino Business Expo has been around. We're on our 31st. The West Coast Outdoor Sports Fishing Expo, this is our second. We had such a great turnout the first time, and the second one's already moving along. We're at 70% sold, and it's 3 months away.
And it's bigger, right? Did you guys get another section
we added another room. So with each show, we plan on building it up, making it better than the last. There was a need for something like this in our area. I mean, we're within half an hour of 4 different landings from Santa Barbara to Channel Islands and Captain Hook's,
Ventura,
Cisco's, Ventura, and Santa Barbara. Yep. There's 4 landings, and there's probably about 35 fishing boats.
And you got guys like Fred Clinshaw and Freshwater. You have tackle shops out here.
Lee Berryman, Fly Fish to Surf.
Yep.
We're really
rod builders like Tiffany. Like you got so many in this 805 area. Go ahead.
Well, it's important for us to we're learning as we go, and we're tapping into some people that are very influential into this arena as far as shows with the outdoors and what people are requesting and requiring. For me, it's all about learning.
And it's not a swap meet, That's what I wanted to bring up too. Me and Adam are talking, swap meets when you kind of just go up and down the aisles and grab what you need. These are where there's a vibe to this thing, right? Where guys are hanging out and you could ask these questions that you might be intimidated to ask or you can't get from a website to answer these questions, whether it's about terminal tackle, hooks and weights, whether it's about Lake Casillas, freshwater, saltwater. This is a time where you get a chance to conversate, listen to seminars from different speakers. hopefully I'm back there again this year, Adam. And
Let's see if you made the cut.
yeah, and then on our podcast again. But anyway, but this is what this event is about. Again, it's a different vibe than just a swap meet where you go in there and look at gear. This is a chance for people to interact and engage. You could spend 4, 5, 6 hours, going from hangar to hangar and talking to the booths and not feel like you're overwhelmed or rushing people, that you're just here. Hey, are you here to buy a charter? Are you here to buy a fishing rod? It's more like a community event for first timers to do it, and to people to showcase their talents and their skills, and how you could be a part of something that might be what we find with Real Anglers Fishing Show. And the reason I started it was something that is recreational that you like to do in your backyard that could seem intimidating. You go into a box store, and these are things, Adam, that come from me going to the Fishing Summit and ASA meetings, is that the box stores do enough teaching of people that want to fish. You go into, not to throw anybody under the bus, but you go into a box store, won't say any names, and you ask the retailer, hey, what's the best outfit that I could use out here? And that retailer doesn't really get as much knowledge and training on the outfit that you need for specific, to target specific fisheries, freshwater, pier, deep sea, all those things, where this event gives you that opportunity. And again, it's not that, but that's what our industry needs, is to kind of break down the stereotypes of you need an expensive boat, you need to be in Cabo to catch a trophy, and make it seem feasible for everybody to take in recreational fishing and get your questions answered and the right outfit at your. So don't rush through this like in a hurry to just go down there and you have to be an elite angler to come check this out.
Yeah.
This is where you come to find out all these little nuggets that are in your backyard and how you can do it affordably and with the knowledge or a guide or somebody to have great experience and want to continue to do it.
Well, that's what I appreciate with a lot of our vendors. They're all about educating people because, at the end of the day, we want in the circles that I'm running around in, I'm seeing some people that are really committed to educating people about our fish, the freshwater, saltwater, fly fishing, wildlife. I like that part of the aspect to where.
Let me just add to that list.
Yeah.
Out front, they had the little RVs out front.
Yeah.
You had boats. You had the quail hunters. You have organizations like NOAA and these other organizations about wildlife protection. So again, it's not, if you're interested in all that neat stuff too. So again, as it's a sportsman, I just wanted to add to what he was saying about the vendors and educating, but there's other vendors there for this event.
Yep. And that's one of the things that we want to keep going is, you got to have that educational component to a show. People want their kids, if you're going to bring kids in, they want their kids to learn from people that are in the industry so they don't make mistakes and do things wrong as they're getting there. But I think that one of the best parts of our show is that we've been able to capture a lot of new vendors. I was talking to vendors that I thought were from other shows. They go, no, we're so happy you brought this to our area. This is our first show we've ever done, and we loved it. And, so for us personally, we're good at marketing, promoting, and putting on shows. Learning the product is what we're doing.
Here's a networking tip I was just thinking in my brain. Big Willie, right? We interviewed Big Willie down at Fred Hall, one of my first interviews ever. Big Willie came up here to do the show. He said one of the most convenient stays he's ever had, right? You let him park his RV right there on the property.
Oh, yeah.
So he didn't have to be protective over his stuff. And he was out catching bluegill, right? First thing in the morning.
Every day.
Right? So guess where we're going fishing next Tuesday? We're going out to Fin and Feather to fish with Big Willie. So that's that networking component too, of finding out more about what Willie does, spending time with him. We interviewed him on the podcast, and then we're going to go utilize his service and go to his tackle shop out in Palmdale or Lancaster in that area and go to the Fin and Feather. And we're doing that next Tuesday. So that was just that networking component of a specialist in the freshwater that will take the time to tell you about all these things. But that statement is that, again, a tribute to how you treat your vendors, the educational there, the networking we get out of it, even me being a great fisherman that I am in my area, to still utilize a guide myself to make sure that we have the best
teach
fishing.
you how to tie a few knots.
Yeah, exactly. How to land a few fish. And
just when you think you know it all, there's more.
You know who was here the other day? Tom Hunley. Teaching us how to fly fish out
Tom
front.
Hunley,
did you see that? We were learning how to
Hunley
in the courtyard. Yeah, we were out there fly. You know how hard you can't break your wrist, right? So he was, stop, Kevin, and he was. But anyway, we never quit learning, man. And to have him, he was out in the courtyard teaching me and Derek, the new intern.
He called me up and he wants to volunteer at the show. He said he's going to be available all the days this time. So
because again, the reason I say this is Adam, it makes it fun. At the end of the day, the things that he does, he loves what he do. Do what you love what you do. And I think that transfers over into why people are calling you to be a part of it, right? You don't have to go chase it. You do that part.
I do.
But you have enough people that are the energy around you that circulates around you, and the fun and the joy of it,
what we're developing with this show is what we have going on with my other show, is that the vendors are selling the show for me because they had such a good show the last time, and if all the vendors are bringing me one new person, that's amazing, and we love it, and we go above and beyond for our vendors.
And then, so if you have happy vendors, you're going to have them happy to help people, right? It's not that vibe of, again, just going back to reiterate this, just so people could hear how this works, so you can kind of paint a picture in your brain of how this event looks, right? Especially for its second year going like that, right? Obviously, again, it's contagious. But when you have that vibe, you have that energy moving in a direction, and you have that momentum, it's going to spell success for everybody, from the vendor to the attendee.
Everybody. That's what we want, full circle. Me and my partners, Richard Ramos and Dr. Atney with Fish X Adventures, we put this thing together, and of course, the first show we had some speed bumps here and there, things of learning, and
you fix those by day 2, though.
We fixed them, and then the vendors, after setup day on Thursday for the 3-day show, before the show even started, they were already saying, "Man, thank you for everything you've done. You can count on us for the next show."
Well, I think
the show hadn't even happened yet.
Well, you alleviated it, right? We were setting up. I don't know how many vendors walked through handing out burritos. Yeah. Because again, you think about a vendor, right?
Organizers,
right? The promoter organizer.
Yeah.
You drive up, again. Let's say Martin Ayala, right?
Yeah.
Or somebody. What it takes for a vendor to load up a vehicle, pile it in there, right? Get up in the morning, drive to, up north a little bit or down south, wherever you're coming from, inland, set up all that energy. You forget to eat, right? Again, this is just basic necessity, right? You're just grinding. You're on that grind.
You don't have time.
So before you know it, it is 6:30 at night and you're tired and you got to get up and run game 10 o'clock in the morning, people coming through the door. So to continue that energy and that effort of all that you got to put into this show, you can start to feel your energy wiped out, from the beginning, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like your endurance. So for you to make it comfortable, I mean, you have vendors breaking bread together. The value of that, he had a hall set up on the side with food set out for the vendor so that you could either he was bringing you a burrito or shuffling you in so that you had a chance to sit down, regather your thoughts, be comfortable, right? It wasn't, okay, because I've done enough vendors. You get there, you go set up, you go check into your hotel room, you might lay down for an hour and a half, kind of feeling that way. You're anxious, you're ready to get up to the next day. You're already in full grind mode. And I think by you setting it up that way of the day of the event, and making your vendors comfortable, that's less they have to worry about it, and they keep that, all that little stuff helps, man.
Hey, they don't have to leave the property for their first meal. On setup day, I bring my compliments to Cabo Seafood and Cantina in Oxnard. I cater the food from them. They do a great job, and then I host a bar for you guys.
So what I mean by that is, and I giggled because imagine when you walk up there, right? And I'm not saying this happens all the time, but the energy level of that person, hey, how can I help you? Because they've had such a enjoyable experience setting up versus, hey, what do you want? Are you here to buy? You know what I mean? Because that's what I mean by that energy kind of shifts into a vibe. Me and Adam were talking about this from other previous shows of what a swap meet versus a vibe, the enthusiasm of vendors ready to shake hands, and you have that momentum for 3 days. But you started Thursday, they might have packed up Wednesday to get ready, right?
Yep.
So by having you full throttle and energized and excited, that's going to transfer into the attendees' pleasurable time with all our vendors. And I think that's where it starts, man, by you out looking at all that. And,
one of the things that are cool, a lot of the vendors are, the ones that bought 2 or 4 booths. They're going 4 or 8 booths. They're doubling up their size. They're sharing with their business. A big shout out to Bob Sands and Eric's Tackle. Eric's at 7 booths right off the back. He goes, hey, I'll take that whole wall again. Bob Sands goes, okay, we had 4, we're going to do 8 this time, but can you leave some room in case we decide to do 10? Or, it's like when these vendors start seeing the value of the way we work for them, which is a huge plus in the industry with these shows. Me and Richard, my partner with the other Latino Business Expo, we've been doing expos since 2006, and we know that it's customer service. And Dr. A, our third party for our outdoor show, has fit in a glove. He's picked up the slack and he's helping with he's got a lot of ideas, a lot of good things that he brings to the table. So now we added another component to me and Richard. So you got me, Richard, and Dr. A, and we got three of us who all see the same mission. And we're not having meetings where we're butting heads every 5 seconds.
And a shout out. And their wives,
Oh, yeah.
This isn't I mean, they were checking us in. Vicky and Aunt Debbie were there checking us in. Their first time at it, right? They're at the front, making sure that people are getting in at the ticket booth. So Adam's dominating what he does. Richard's in the cut in the back doing what he does. They have this energy going. We have this fishing reel that we showcase over there. I'm not going to grab right now and stop. But these little gears that are moving inside of the handle of our fishing reel that's there.
That's us.
And that's how they circulate it through, because you have people killing their strengths and making sure that these other things are fixed and worked on, that you don't even know that much work's really going on.
Well, you know what? We have, our wives, all of our wives, Richard's wife, Sonia, helps out during the shows with an information booth. She's there. Our families are committed to the success of the show.
And here's some networking, right?
3 families.
So Adam's partner, Richard, comes in here 2 days ago with his daughter, Kendra. Okay. Kendra. And she is going to come in to do her capstone project with us. And she's going to take what she learned from her dad and digitize all of our logos. I mean, you know what that's like for us?
She's a mini me.
To have some, but they came in with joy and delight. Hey, he brought in his daughter again. This is family, right? Let me just walk you in there and talk to Kev.
Yeah.
Hey, Kev, my daughter wants to intern here. Do what you do. Hey, no problem. Let's get you signed up. But that's a trust that you build again through networking, right? That you could count on, rely on. The integrity is there to work with one another. Like there's these other intangible objects that you guys have built and able to work with that spreads out and now into your kids and your grandkids, or into their kids and your wives. And it's a wonderful thing to see and experience, man. Well, I think that's why it's so successul.
Well, with Richard, my partner Richard, and his family, his kids are all amazing. They've all learned a lot from their dad. I think Kendra, when I first met her, she was probably, I don't know, she's 6 years old. And she was already had her own Mac computer and already doing her own thing. But as long as I've known her, she's been creating stuff online. His other daughters are just the same. They both have it. So Richard's quite the partner. I don't know what we'd do without him. He's a webmaster. He does all our creating, everything that we need in the back office, back doors, whatever. I tell him he can stay behind the screen like the Wizard of Oz. I said, I'll be the mouth of the South and I'll be out front. Yeah. I don't mind talking. I'll talk to anybody, anywhere. So is Dr. A. Dr. A's like that too. So he's my mini me.
And this is where, again, if you haven't heard the story about me and Adam, a couple of things, right? I wanted a banana cognac. This one I was drinking. And he said, hey, I can make you a banana cognac. So he goes in the back at the sushi bar, grinds up a banana in the molcajete, adds a Hennessy to it, puts a little cream on top. And there's no such thing as a banana cognac. It's a gimmick from the Chappelle show when they're working at the juice bar. And we just copied it and bring back a banana cognac and, throw it at the bartender. So then we got to talking over that because, again, that was that service that Adam provides. And then he says, I do this I do this Latino Business Expo. And I had just started seeing it, I think, on social media. So he takes me out to his vehicle and he has flyers, like he always doesn't leave home without them.
That's right.
And he gives me a flyer. And I said, okay, well, help out. Can you make me a banner, my first real angler banner? No problem. He meets me at 10:30 at night in the parking lot to deliver my banner because I needed it. And they worked that fast, consistency. So that's kind of how we met. And again, you could see that level of enthusiasm has never stopped. That customer service has never quit. And that's why it's leading into
it's actually gotten easier because we learned a lot more we waste less time and get more done now.
Yeah.
So most of the equipment, we have our own stuff so we can do it overnight.
So let's take that back. Every time, Adam, in the podcast, I try to keep it down, let the guest go, but this is more of a conversation with me and Adam. That's what I was talking about at the beginning. You don't have to have everything figured out to get started. See how he's telling you that his repetitions of where he's mastered it at and still learning. We talked about fishing with, just when you think you know all the hook tying knots and you know all the secrets, you learn more. But you're not starting from scratch. Later in the years, you're just fine tuning and refining your processes. You don't have to make 100 calls. You can make 10 calls, right? I'm sure the calls that you used to have to make, cold calling and introducing yourself, that volume will slow down because the quality is picked up and you've gained those things. So just to go back to say, he's admitting, if you're listening, from a standpoint of thinking about something you want to do, you don't need you don't have to have it all figured out. as you continue to wipe, day one of the show, we had a couple of kinks. You wouldn't know because how hard they were working. By day two, they were fixed. And then this show, they probably won't even be in existence. Something might pop up. He'll fix it. He doesn't panic.
Something will pop up.
And he won't. But that's for people that are listening.
Yeah.
Where he's at today and what they've built has been through repetitions. And again, when I first met Adam, your old Becky, your old neighbor, right? And they're like, you know how hard that guy worked, Kevin? Because I was a paper boy, right?
Yeah.
I was selling lemonade outside the liquor store. I was taking liquor store sales. I'm selling lemonade in front of the liquor store. But the liquor store let me do it because they just liked seeing a kid hustling, right? Like you're not taking away our Sprite sales, right? So I remember the little lady even brought me out like 2 bags of chips for me and my assistant to eat chips while we were selling lemonade in front of their store. You mind if I set up selling drinks in front of your store where you sell drinks? So when I'm at, that's just the people telling me about Adam and where he's built himself up from that. And we want to share any reason why, like you started, the Latino Business Expo, like what made you see things differently as a forward thinker than the same old type of mixers or other organizations that put together mixers which makes you so dynamic?
Absolutely. In 2006, I joined Richard, 2005, 2006, I joined Richard Ramos with Santa Barbara Capital Real Estate. So I'm a realtor, Richard's a broker. So we were doing business. Business was good back then. And then if we all remember 2007, 2008, the real estate market started to dip. So we said, let's put on an event. Well, first we went to some events to promote the real estate. They were terrible. You're in a room you walk into a room for realtors. It's a real estate event. There's 10 lenders on a wall, 10 escrows on a wall. And the sponsor that sponsored it all is in there exclusive, the real estate company. He brought all their associates and they charge you $50 at the door. And it was for nothing that we needed because we already had all these services. And it was just somebody trying to corner the market on that industry and get people to come in and sell themselves only. There was nothing there for us unless we were looking to purchase services or go through the different lender. So I told Richard, I go, this is, bullshit. I said, I can put together a better event than this with the contacts I have in my phone right now. So he said, well, let's do it. So that's where the Latino Business Expo was born. Number one, we went to a lot of events. We went to a lot of chamber events, trying to figure out if it was a fit for us. And we realized quickly that it wasn't a fit for us. We want to include anybody and everybody. Nobody has to be part of a
membership
type thing. Our Latino Business Expo doesn't require membership or anything. You just got to want to walk in there and do business or promote yourself or network or see what's going on. So what we did is we created the first one, and then we took a page out of one of the other books from one of the shows we went to, and we were the only exclusive real estate company in the room, and we had our lender and one of our escrow people in the room, the people that we work with. And then we had 70 more vendors, which we didn't expect because I picked one room for 40 and we started there. Well, I can sell. So we sold. I maxed out the whole grand ballroom at the Sheraton with the first show in 2007. So we ended up with 76 vendors. We had unbelievable turnout because everybody was looking for an opportunity for business and work. We were there trying to work the booth. The show was so busy, we never had a chance to work our booth. So that's when I looked at my partner, Richard. I said, well, maybe we're in the wrong business. Maybe we should pivot and start working on these shows, these expos. So before the show was over, I had a lot of people ask me, hey, when's the next show? When's the next show? Vendors and participants that came. So we said, I just said, we're doing another one in 6 months. I didn't know this yet. I didn't have it on the books. We hadn't talked about it. I just said, we're doing another one every 6 months. And they said, great, put me down. We'll be here. Put me down. We'll be here. Put me down. We'll be here. So I talked to Richard. I go, hey, we got to do this again in 6 months. And he goes, all right, let's do it. That's it. And that's the way it goes. It worked. You keep doing it.
And to be impressive, to do a couple of shows and have that turnout in a year. Some people do an expo a year. To be able to fill a room twice a year, that's a big ask, to do it, without membership, right? Without all that stuff.
No requirements, no membership. No, it goes back to what I said earlier. We have a 70% retention, which means 70% of my vendors are there twice a year.
I've been at your event twice. That's one I don't miss. That's the one I don't miss.
Yeah,
whether it's because Adam has been a mentor, whether it's because of the vibe. I mean, there's a whole checklist, right? Scotty goes now. He always gets his couple of tickets, brings his wife. They come through, and it gives us a chance. My daughters have worked our booth. I had a ex-girlfriend that worked the booth, a new fiance that works the booth. Don't mean to laugh at that, but it gives us a chance where you can see your family gets to build and grow. And we've been part of that growth, man, and been in there,
I love it.
I mean, you've seen it. We used to have like 4 or 5 things on our table, maybe a business card. So now we have a tablecloth, and you give us the wall so we can hang our banner up.
Absolutely.
And grow and send people to us. And man,
one of the things I want to say about Kevin here, that he's putting his money where his mouth's at. We've all had our ups and downs. We've all been through there. This industry, the nonprofit industry, is the same as a for-profit. You got to grind. You got to ask. You got to sometimes feel like you're begging, pleading, and trying to negotiate to get what you need. And the one thing I'm going to stick to, and I'm going to repeat it, that a lot of people that are looking to do something good, sometimes they feel like they're not earning a wage, but there's nothing wrong with making a living doing something that's good and right and helping somebody else. And that's one of the challenges with a lot of nonprofits that are really legitimate, trying to do things that are good, that they have to prove themselves over and over and over. Well, Kevin's been grinding since I've known him. He's a grinder. He's like, we get shit done. And that's the way it is. There's a need, there's a solution. So I'm going to take an analogy from my 13-year-old, when I was 13, from a martial arts instructor. Before you stepped on the mat, you had to grab your belt and say, there's a problem, there's a solution, let's change it. So I've kind of applied that to my whole life. There's a problem, there's a solution. And my partners are the same. We feel the same. If we run into a challenge, there's a solution. Don't freak out. That's like when the day of the show is kicking. Okay, all right, don't relax. Mm-hmm. What do you need? Oh, what do you want? Okay. So I printed shirts that night. We printed shirts and brought them back the next day.
I got mine.
That next day, we printed new signage. We did new signage within 10 hours, and signs were put up and placed. There's a solution to everything. And that's if you approach life and business with that and not freak out and overreact every time there's a challenge. Every challenge is going to teach you something.
Okay.
And, so I say, keep doing what you're doing. And, you got good people around you, and you're growing and you're getting better and well-known at what you do. And I'm hoping, I'm wishing for success in everything that you do, brother.
Good. Can you keep some of that to about 40 seconds today? So today we have our biggest presentation in front of probation in Ventura County, and Adam's going to come and talk about we do our business development growth, but you only got 40 seconds. We got 15 minutes. We mastered the PowerPoint in about 13 minutes. Alexis.
80 words, you said?
Right. And then that gives us a chance to everybody to kind of testify on our behalf. So for us to have 8 different community partners come in today to testify on our behalf, that's pretty incredible, man. And just a tribute to work. But again, I think you've helped set the example, my friend, or Uncle Adam. I call my Uncle Adam and Aunt Deb, of how it's done. If you're listening and you want your motivational moment for the day, copy success. In the NFL, some of the stuff that you see in these teams, because they copy each other's playbooks and what they do, and those are the ones that normally win, or win, but more. A majority of the time, right? Versus trying to always reinventing something. But if you have somebody with positive positive influence around you, man, that's doing it, take them to lunch, pick their brain, call and talk with them, and get as much as out of that as you can. And again, if you see something that's working with somebody for 20 years, whether it's their marriage, their business, ask them for some time and try to duplicate as much of that as you can without losing your own self.
I can give you the best advice if you're married. Okay. I'm getting ready to celebrate my 26th wedding anniversary, but we've been together for 32 years. The most important thing you have to have is amnesia, because you got to forget about shit. Me and my wife, we might argue. 10 minutes later, we already forgot about it. Yeah. We're sitting down, relaxing, having a good time.
That's because Aunt Deb will beat you up.
No, well, don't sweat the small stuff, man. Don't sweat the small stuff. That's a great book, by the way.
I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna let it end with that right there instead of making a joke, because I need to hear that myself.
Yeah.
Uncle Adam, appreciate you coming in today. We're at the 45-minute mark. You want to share the QR code?
Yeah. If you guys want some information on that outdoor show, There's the QR code. It'll take you right to the website.
And it'll be in our learning center too. We're going to keep these to put up.
It'll be in the website. Next show is the first weekend of May.
2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Yep.
May the 4th be with you. So here on camera, ask him. We do our podcast again? Ask him.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to do the podcast live from the.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Can't wait. Looking forward to it.
You have to. We'll put you wherever you want to be.
That's right.
We're going to put you indoors this time. None of this back parking lot stuff.
And we made it work, but didn't we make it work?
I didn't even know you guys were out there doing it. I would have put you in the room.
Right. But we came up with we grabbed the belt.
Yeah.
There's a problem. There's a solution.
Right.
Big Mike helped us carry a table down. We parked in the back. There's bulldozers driving through the back. Trash trucks coming in. People pulling up. What's her name? Helen from the Mondays Club getting out of the booth and walking right into our.
Everybody's. I think that's one of the things that's nice about our venue is that it's accessible.
Yeah.
After seeing what some of the vendors go through at some of the other venues for other shows, I was trying to figure out where they load it up. They gotta pay to have that stuff brought in. At our venue, if you got heavy stuff, you get there early, you get it unloaded, and you walk it in.
Right. There's the big doors that come up.
Yeah.
You pull in there.
But you can park right next to the door.
Yep.
It's not like
we did. So my Honda Pilot was parked right there by the back door.
And everybody played nice. All the vendors did a good. I love my vendors, man, and we're gonna prove it again. Me, Richard, and Dr. A. We don't break things that aren't broken. We don't fix things that aren't broken.
Yep. They just improve what's there for enjoyable time. So again, the Latino Business Expo is April 10th. That's a Thursday. We'll be there. If you're into the business expo, check
April 3rd.
April 3rd? Why is April 10th?
April 3rd, 2025.
April 3rd. And then the expo is May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Both of the Ventura Fairgrounds. Check them out online. Uncle Adam, thank you very much. I'll see you in about 4 hours in front of probation.
You got it.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you, man.
My pleasure.
Always a pleasure. Scotty, got anything you want to add?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, Barry.
Got to put Will Berry back.
That's it.
Will Berry.
See you next time. Let's go.
All right, man.
Brought to you by AFTCO Fishing Apparel and Tackle, designed to perform. Channel Island Sport Fishing, offering deep-sea fishing on quality sport fishing charter boats, and more. Costa Sunglasses. Discover life's greatest adventures with Costa. See what's out there. Daiwa. If you want innovation and quality in your fishing products, Daiwa has what you need. This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.